Welcome to I Drink Your podcast.
Oh gosh, it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You leave me no choice. Here comes the smolder.
Wait, you like that?
No,
you don't like that?
No, I don't like that.
No, how about that? You like that?
A little better.
Bread makes you fat?
Does this count as annoying?
Just tell me what you want me to fuck! Not you, and not you.
Okay, I think it's time to take off your clothes and jump me.
$1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool?
I drink your podcast. I drink it up!
Welcome, everybody, to Season 2 of I Drink Your Podcast, or IDYP 2010, since we are tackling movies from 2010 this season. With me today, as always, is Emily.
Hi, everyone.
And one of our three-headed co-host monster, Brandon.
Hey, what's up? How's it going, y'all?
What did you guys think of that new clip song I just made?
You goofball. That was brilliant. I'm so proud of you.
I know.
I'm impressed.
I'm a talented guy. What can I say?
I'm very impressed with it.
Brandon.
Very much so.
Everything I try to do with this podcast is to try to impress you, so that really makes me feel good.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm definitely impressed.
This week, we are talking about The Social Network, which is available on Hulu and Amazon Prime in America.
It's on both. I don't know how that works, how they has the rights to be on both platforms. Like, that's
Who
just
knows?
weird to me.
I don't care. I'm still angry at this movie.
You really?
Oh, wow.
I really am.
Brandon, we're in for a ride today, let me tell you.
You really are. And so we're going to need some strong stuff to get us through this. So, Brandon, what's in your glass today?
Right now, I went super basic. I have a cherry Pepsi rather, and honey bourbon liquor, whatever.
Ooh.
I'm not much of a drinker as much as I used to be anymore. So
It sounds very nice, though.
it's a small cup. It looks like a big cup, but it's literally like right here. It's like maybe 2 inches from the bottom. I'm a lightweight, and I have a whole lot of water. So
Perfect. Well, Ben, what are you drinking?
So, this movie takes place at Harvard, but my general opinion of Harvard is fuck Harvard, so I went with a Yale cocktail, baby. It's gin, vermouth, and blue curacao. Go blue.
Okay, well, we got some competition because I went with the most prestigious looking bougie glass that I could find, and I made a Harvard cocktail. Because why the fuck not? Although I did fuck it up. It's supposed to be cognac or brandy, and I definitely used bourbon, which is still great. I'm having a great time, but...
Hold on, cognac?
Cognac?
Isn't it cognac?
but you gotta say bitch.
I don't know.
You gotta say cognac, bitch.
Bitch! You know what? I'm so used to Corbin deliberately saying it wrong, so that's my bad. He goes cognac on purpose all the time, so I legit don't know how to say it. Welcome to my world.
Well, folks, this year we are tackling 2010 movies, and we are actually going to go year by year through the 2010s, watching only the best that each year has to offer. So we, and by we I mean me, I've scoured best of lists, the best of the decade, best of the year, review sites, and we're tackling movies that range from animated to foreign to the Oscar nominees to hidden gems to documentaries and even some of our own personal favorites as we search for the best movie of each year and the decade as a whole. One thing, though, that we're not doing is we're not covering extensively reboots, prequels, or sequels, baby. We're only talking the original to the big screen movies. So we'll still take the time to watch some of those reboots, prequels, sequels, the ones that are memorable or good, but we're only going to do them as bonus episodes. They're not going to be in consideration for the best of the year.
Because no one gives a shit about sequels, I guess. I don't know.
Nobody cares.
As the years go on, the number of sequels just gets bigger and bigger. Like, once you get to, 2018, the top 20 movies of that year are all reboots, prequels, and sequels. It's, boring.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
We're talking about skills. Give us some new original stories.
That's right.
People are scared of original stories, though. You have to find a fan base, and I think that's the difficult part of doing original work. That's why there's so many reboots, and they've taken animated series and making them live action and going the opposite direction. And
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper to just copy yourself than it is to be original.
Mm-hmm.
But as we look into this new season, what is something that you guys are excited about moving forward?
Well, I'm super excited not to look back. There were some super problematic things in 2007. And I'm honestly really excited to see how film has grown and changed, especially as we move forward, just seeing like the progression since I'm such a movie noob. Although I can't really say that anymore. I've seen like 77 movies in the last year and a half, and many of them were very good. So I don't know if I can say that anymore.
Well, you've seen way more movies than that too, because you've been watching movies personally. Like you just for the podcast.
Yeah. Brandon?
I think it's a pretty decent year. It's a solid year. So I'm excited to see what all, getting to as far as film goes. And, a lot of people took a lot of different types of artistic choices in this particular year. So it should be fun.
What are you looking forward to, Ben?
The thing I'm most excited about is seeing some movies that I've never seen before. After we get through this one, we have 6 straight movies that I have not seen. And I can't remember the last time that I really dove into movies, that maybe smaller or things that aren't normally on my radar. But man, I'm super excited. And then the foreign movies, baby. I'm excited to see some good foreign movies this year.
Yeah, we found in 2007 a couple foreign movies that were definitely in our top 10. And they literally were in our top 10 movies of 2007. So it should be fun.
And I have to say it again, the breakdown you guys had on Lust Caution was probably one of the best breakdowns I've heard on that.
Oh my gosh, thanks,
podcast.
Brandon.
It was really good. I was excited. I was like, it's everything I would have said. I was so amped off of that. It was a good episode. It was a really good episode.
Thanks, man. That one made our top 10 of 2007.
It did.
So
that was my number 2.
Well, this movie is about the creation of Facebook, something that all 3 of us have used before. Share an experience that you've had on Facebook, good or bad.
Oh, good or bad? Oh boy.
Yeah.
There's so many bad ones. Just seeing things and learning about your friends that are now in a political place that you didn't realize they were, and you're like, oh, unfriend. But I do distinctly remember the first time I actually got on Facebook. I had just turned 16. And my dad and mom finally let me go on Facebook and get my own Facebook. And I remember just the influx of friend requests from all the high school people that I barely knew. And I was like, whoa, am I popular? No, this is just how Facebook works.
Right. Oh, man. Let me see mine. Oh, last year, actually, I got mistaken for one of the jurors on the...
That's right.
On the George Floyd
Derek
trial.
Chauvin.
The Derek Chauvin trial. Yeah, I got mistaken for that. So I got a whole bunch of people in my inbox, and I got one person that was actually threatening me on my inbox. So I was like, okay, all right. So that was like probably the biggest thing that's happened to me. I got messages from people in, Chicago, San Diego. I think one was in Sweden. I think it was Sweden or Denmark.
Wow.
Yeah, asking me to do an interview, and I was like, oh, that's the wrong guy.
It's not me.
And here's the thing. I actually know the other Brandon Mitchell.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I actually know him personally. He went to the same school that my wife went to, and he's actually a coach at North High. So I know him from that.
Oh my gosh.
He owes me lunch. He hasn't given me lunch for being harassed yet either, so.
Oh, man.
I remember my first time on Facebook, and when I first got my Facebook, this must have been before Emily got hers, because you needed a college email address to gain access to it when I first got on. So that definitely changed over the years to allow young people like Emily onto that platform. But the most memorable thing that ever happened to me on Facebook is, you all who are listening to this or have listened to our episodes before know Matt, our co-host. I was on a road trip with him for 45 days, and about 35 days into the road trip, I got a friend request from a guy named Matt Anderson, who was using Matt's exact pictures, and someone had created a profile of Matt trying to catfish me.
Oh my God.
I don't know why, but Matt, for a second on Facebook, had 2 profiles of identical pictures, And one was run by him and one was not. So scary shit.
Super memorable. So desirable, Ben.
I know. Your credit score must have been amazing, dog. I don't
Still is, man.
Mine is in the trash. Oh, man.
Well, this week we did watch The Social Network, the winner of 3 Oscars for Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Editing, and Best Score. And it also received 5 additional nominations for Best Cinematography, Best Sound Mixing, Best Actor for Jesse Eisenberg, Best Director, and Best Picture. So this was
Holy
a
fucking shit.
Oscar heavyweight this year and did not win because we are always saving the Oscar winner of that year for the last movie we do of the year. So this one did not win Best Picture.
Oh, I don't even know what it is yet.
Yeah, you'll find out.
I guess I will.
I'm not going to spoil that now, yeah.
Have I seen it?
Probably not.
Okay.
No, I think it deserved every nomination because this is one of the films. This is the first time I've seen it. This is the first time I've seen it. I didn't want to see it when it first came out, and it does everything it got. It deserved, and it probably I can't remember what won Best Picture, but whatever beat this had to have been pretty decent because this was I thought this was good. This is really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna attack one of the things it was nominated for later. So I don't think that it deserved all 8, but we'll get to that in our good, bad, and weird segment.
Oh man, I'm excited.
But before we do that, let's talk about the people behind this movie.
There were a lot of them.
There were a lot of them. And one thing we're going to do now that we're kind of moving chronologically through the decade is we're only going to focus on the things that these people have done prior to when Social Network came out or prior to when the movie comes out. We're not going to talk about what they did after. We're solely focused on what they did up till now. So David Fincher is a director, and he is known for directing Alien 3, 7, The Game, Fight Club, Panic Room, our 2007 movie we did several weeks ago, Zodiac, and Wesley's favorite movie, Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Oh, stop.
We skipped 2008 for a reason, just so that Wesley didn't have to watch that movie again.
Poor man.
He hates that movie so much. This movie was written by Aaron Sorkin, who prior to this was a writer of TV shows, Sports Night, West Wing, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, and of movies, A Few Good Men, The American President, and a 2007 movie we didn't get to, Charlie Wilson's War.
I don't think I've seen any of those things.
You haven't seen any of The West Wing?
No.
You know, I haven't seen it either. I've always heard everybody talk about how good it is. I've seen the rest, or if we were to go forward, since we're not going forward past this stuff, I've seen the newer stuff that he's done, and I've been very, very impressed with
the stuff he's been directing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, just a sidebar. The cinematographer of this, because I'm going to always go the cinematographer route. So the cinematographer is a Jeff Collinworth. His dad was the cinematographer for Blade Runner.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so like, dude is sick. I know we can't go forward because after I saw this movie, I was like, okay, I know it's gonna be filmed dope, but he's a cinematographer on Fight Club. And here's another thing: this director cinematographer combo, they use 2 editors. So both of the editors have also they go on to do other stuff with them. So when you go in the previous years, when you see a lot of the actual style and how it's edited, you're gonna be like, yeah, okay, this is a team that's worked together for a while, and you can tell like they cover everybody's mistakes, they know everybody's strengths, and I've seen like 5 of this guy's films before I realized I've seen him. Dude is amazing. He's an amazing cinematographer.
And this movie is beautifully shot. I don't think even Emily can disagree with that. Oh my God. Okay, we'll get into it. This movie stars Jesse Eisenberg, who was in a 2004 movie, The Squid and the Whale, and in 2009, Adventureland and Zombieland. So he's just kind of coming into his own with 2010. And his sister was the Pepsi girl from the 90s commercials. Do you remember the little Pepsi girl, Brandon?
Really?
Yeah, the little white girl.
Yeah.
That's in all the Pepsi commercials. Yeah, that's his sister.
Wow.
I don't know what commercials are from TV.
That's why I said Brandon. I knew you wouldn't know what I was talking
Because
about.
Brandon's old and he knows.
I remembered them, so I'm old too, I guess.
That's okay. I got 2 old fucks over here.
Also in this movie is Andrew Garfield, who up until now was mostly in small roles, but did have a role in the 2009 movie Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
I love that movie.
Yep.
I love that movie.
An old 2007 standby, a guy that we saw in a couple movies in 2007, Justin Timberlake, former Mouseketeer and pop star with NSYNC. He was also in Alpha Dog, Southland Tales, Shrek 3, and The Love Guru.
And he fucking kills this scene. He fucking kills it. I mean, that's just me. It could be the drink talking, but he fucking killed it to me. I'm sorry.
This role does very much suit who I think Justin Timberlake is as a person. I don't think he had to act very much to be in this movie. Next up is Armie Hammer, who prior to this had only brief TV stints. And
like Gabriel in Gossip Girl.
Was that before this? Is Gossip Girl that old?
2009.
Wow.
I know.
I would have never guessed that. See, I thought based on his name that he was related to baking soda.
What?
His name is Armand Hammer.
Oh my God.
Like Armand
Seriously?
Hammer baking soda. And his grandpa had the same name, and his grandpa was a very wealthy guy, and he actually attempted to buy the baking soda company because people so often asked him if he was related to the baking soda.
That's so stupid. I love it.
I feel like I should know who this guy looks like. Everybody always talks about him. I can never remember this guy's face.
Well, you just saw the movie. There was 2 of him. Yeah, he played the Winklevoss twins.
You know what? I'm so oblivious to who that guy is on a regular basis that I literally thought it was twins. I literally, for real.
So I did too the first time I saw this.
I had to look at that. I was like, is it 2 of them? Wait, 2 of them?
We'll talk about that one.
And last person I want to call out in this movie is Rooney Mara. Prior to this, very small parts, but her mother's family, the Rooney family, founded the Pittsburgh Steelers, and her father's family, the Mara family, founded the New York Giants.
Whoa.
So she is actually named after 2 famous football families, and this just goes to show you that you can truly make it in Hollywood no matter who you are.
As long as you got some money, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I need to do something substantial in order to get the attention of the clubs.
Why?
Because they're exclusive and fun, and they lead to a better life.
People want to go on the internet and check out their friends, so why not build a website that offers that friends, pictures, profiles?
I'm talking about taking the entire social experience of college and putting it online.
The site got 2,200 hits within 2 hours.
22,000.
Straight from the back of the DVD cover, on a fall night in 2003, Harvard undergrad and computer programming genius Mark Zuckerberg sits down at his computer and heatedly begins working on a new idea. In a fury of blogging and programming, what begins in his dorm room soon becomes a global social network and a revolution in communication. A mere 6 years and 500 million friends later, Mark Zuckerberg is the youngest billionaire in history. But for this entrepreneur, success leads to both personal and legal complications.
What is that garbage shit right there? I'm sorry. The fact that this movie is about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, I already didn't want to watch it. And now I really didn't want to watch it just hearing that. Those trash.
So what I've found looking for these DVD covers is that the American ones are almost never written in an interesting way that describes the plot. Like the American DVD cover of this was like David Fincher, great director, Aaron Sorkin, great writer, like great acting. So I had to pull a foreign DVD cover for this one because those actually need to sell who Mark Zuckerberg is.
Right.
Maybe a little more than an American one.
Got it.
I will agree with Emily, though. I did not want to see this when it came out because I'm like, the guy, I don't do very good with biopics because biopic-ish type films. Because I know that there's going to be a lot of artistic license someplace in there to make it interesting. Like the guy just can't walk across the street. He had to walk across the street and dodge 5 cars and fight ninjas to get to the other side. Like it's never just that. Like everything's kind of embellished. And I think this was too, especially when you find out that like the characters had to sign like an NDA at the end. So I wonder when the book was made for them to actually pull the script off of and how much artistic license is being used. So I didn't want to see it initially. I'm actually glad I saw it because it's actually pretty decent. And I was surprised at how good it actually is.
Yeah, we are going to definitely dive into the book versus the movie versus reality, because all three tell very different stories of what happened throughout this creation process. But before we do that, I'm just curious, does your opinion of this movie, is it affected by your opinions of social media?
100%.
How so?
So I hate social media. Yes, I still use it, but watching this movie and adamantly seeing this caricature of Mark Zuckerberg constantly talking about how we can't have ads. It's cool. We have to keep Facebook cool. And literally anytime I'm on Facebook or Instagram, like you scroll 2 inches and there's an ad. You scroll another 2 inches and there's an ad. And you scroll, like, watching this movie, I just got angry every single second of it. And just seeing the impact of how it has kind of torn people in their communities apart and in their families apart because a lot of political, like, yeah, we had stuff like that already of constant arguments and family problems, but social media, just watching the beginning of it and watching it turn into what it is, where now teachers are scared to go to school because apparently tomorrow kids are supposed to bring weapons to school. Surprise, that's a thing right now. Cool. I'm very angry and I'm very, very upset about this movie.
Yeah, so it's not even social media for you. It's 2021 social media, because Facebook, when this movie came out, was not anywhere close to what it is today.
Oh, of course not. No. It was silly. It was a silly time. Right, Brandon?
It was silly a time. And I didn't get on Facebook literally until I was already out of college. Well out of college.
Okay.
Before I got on Facebook. So I was like super late to the game. I used to always hear other people talk about, yeah, man, what it was before, it was a lot of fun, and now I don't use it. I'm like, I only know what it is now. I don't have no clue what it was. You know, when you had to have a school email to get on, I used the Gmail account and I got on. I was like, whatever, this is okay.
Yeah, I think watching this movie now as opposed to when it first came out and knowing kind of the nefarious things that Facebook has been up to and kind of how underhanded they are with the way that they're censoring or not censoring hate speech and just the way that they're treating the information that they have on people. Like it's very icky now for sure, watching this movie where it starts off as this almost sacred thing that Mark Zuckerberg thinks he's building. Like it's very personal to him. It's a thing that he doesn't want corrupted. And yet the corruption that we see now has like gone deep inside of it and it's rooted inside of it now.
Right. Which is why I had such a hard time watching this movie again.
Yeah, because this is your second time seeing this one.
Yeah, first time I watched it, I hated it. I hated it so much. The beginning, they talk way too fucking fast, and I couldn't quite follow what was happening other than they were setting Mark up to be an absolute asshole. And like, I knew it right away. Every single second, I was like, God, I hate him. I hate him so much. I don't care about this. This is dumb. Why is he being so mean to everyone for literally no reason? He's just being this entitled white prick. And then on top of that, I fell asleep because I was so angry and so bored. People are talking, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I got so bored, I fell asleep. And then on top of it, I'm sorry, am I supposed to be super smart and know what a final club is? And I'm supposed to know all this intricacies of Harvard? I was so angry about this movie the first time I saw it.
I thought they did a pretty good job explaining what a final club was.
I did
because
too.
They talked like 50 words in a second.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of words that they say about final clubs, and if you can space out what they're saying and watch it in like 0.5 speed, you'll actually catch everything that they say.
I want to go back to the fact that Emily gets mad and falls asleep.
I did. I legit got mad and I fell asleep.
But you know what? The first 3 minutes, I probably stopped it like 7 times just because I liked the first 3 minutes so much. It sounds odd. I stopped it and I kept going back and I was like, just looking at like the frame and the color and how it's got this yellowish color and the banter back and forth. And he's somehow or other, they put all his exposition and who he is literally in less than 90 seconds. You knew who he was, you knew who she was, and you knew how this was going to go. Like in the first literal 90 seconds. So by the time he actually leaves the bar, and that bar scene is shot so well. Again, I probably went back and watched the bar scene 3 times, and I stopped it every single time. But the color palette in the beginning, how they start it all out and it's all yellow. And if you notice, I don't know if you notice in the film, anytime that there's conflict, it's yellow. The colors are yellow.
Of course you know that. Oh, Brandon, you're so cool.
So like when he gets pissed and he's walking off, he's a coder, right? So when you think coding, you think that whole binary code from like the Matrix, you think in greens. He's walking off and all of a sudden green comes up. There's green like literally his whole trip to his dorm room. So when he walks across the corner, I can't think of what actual building that is, but it's green lit. And so they made a decision what was going to happen, how you can tell what conflict's going to come up, literally with color. So when you see that yellow, they have that whole thing when you have like the whole little triangle on your computer that pops up like boom, see the yellow caution thing. Like that's probably from 2000 whatever 10 that they were doing that, 2007, 10 or whatever when computers were doing that. So it's like all of the color palette would tell you what's going on. And the first 3 minutes, I legit rewound that about 7-8 times and rewatched it.
I am angry about this movie still, watching it a second time, but I went the Brandon route. Not quite as in depth because Brandon's way smarter than me, but here's what I did this time. I put on subtitles. I watched this movie with subtitles because it went way too fast. And this time around, I was like, this is really interesting dialogue choices. It shows how much of an asshole he's being, but that's good character choice. And there are like subtle nuances within what's happening with his face and what's happening with the words. And yes, Brandon, I also paused the movie quite a bit, but it was to research what things were because I would see what this final club was and I would research what it was because I had no idea what it was. They're like talking about fly clubs and I'm like, clubs. Swatting flies?
You know what?
The fuck is this?
The one thing I did notice is I was shaky if I was going to like this movie, but like I think everybody talked fast and it went so fast because if the pace was slow, you would have been done with the film. It
bored
goes
as hell.
So quick. In the edits, the 2 editors that were actually on the film, they edited so well to where they popped the present day so quick, and it's only up there for maybe not even 2 minutes. They pop to it, they're in the room, and then they go back to something else, and they pop to it again, and they go back to something else. The another thing I noticed, I actually wrote down too, like the subtle sound design stuff, like when when he crashes like the whole server in the campus, which I have a story about that. So he crashes. Okay, let me go to the story first. So a very good friend of mine who passed away, I love him to do the death, Bernard Smith. I love him. One of the best ball players I've ever been around. One of the biggest geeks I've ever known. Dude, I've never met a guy that could like play Magic the Gathering 1 minute and then drop 20 points in like a rec league game, like literally like in the same day. So like he was at this school called Fontbonne in St. Louis. This is when World of Warcraft got really, really big. So
my God.
Him and his roommate Sparky, his last name is Sparkman, I can't think of his first name right now. They got everybody on Warcraft, like hard. So they had the whole school on Warcraft and they crashed the server on Warcraft. And this is at like a small Division III college in like St. Louis, Missouri. They crashed. So that's the first time I ever heard about that happen because I laughed about it. I'm like, that's not even possible. So then when I see it in this, I was like, oh shit, it is possible. But like, when he's in that room, he's talking to everybody. He's talking to all like the admin or whatever, all the deans of the schools. There's a subtle hum that's in the room. And I'm like, I thought it was me. So I took my headphones off and like my headphones messed up. I was like, oh no, that's just the sound design in the room. This is how like, low key and like nothingness is kind of means. Okay, it's a hum in here, like, and you're talking over the hum. Versus when he actually starts doing big time stuff, there's no sound. So it's almost like, all right, the more trouble he gets into, the more he comes up, the more different stuff's happening. It gets to one point where it's raining outside. He's just delusional. He's thinking about that. So it's like, it's the subtle stuff that I actually noticed, but I think it goes so fast so you don't lose interest. Everything is sped up. Everybody's talking fast. Everybody's moving fast. It's cut faster. You know what I'm saying? It's not cut like one of his normal films, it feels like. And I think that's what made it enjoyable to watch. I just knew I was going to get bored. And I was like, man, I'm really into this. Like, really, really into it.
And you're right, it's not cut like a normal Fincher movie, which is usually much slower in cuts. It's cut though like a Sorkin movie has to be because of how rapid fire his script is.
Right.
And you can credit his script for laying out all of this exposition in these scenes, but not making it feel like an exposition dump, because the way that the characters are talking is revealing so much about who the characters are at the same time as exposition is being delivered.
It's written. So, I mean, even the part when he's talking about his friend, like, yeah, he was he's like an economics major or whatever, and then he made all this money predicting something in the stock market. He just kind of said it really quick, and he was like, but I thought he was a business guy. Like, oh no, he just followed the weather patterns and he figured it out. So like right then and there, okay, this is the bright dude. So when he comes and he does everything on like the window, it's like, it's no surprise that this guy knows an algorithm for it. Like, it's none at all. And that is done amazingly throughout the whole film. And it's shot so well. Literally, I wish I would have seen it sooner, because I'm so mad at myself I didn't watch it sooner.
Well, and also, like, I know we're talking a lot of the beginning of the movie, but it is so well done. And it does make me so angry, partially because I have been in multiple experiences where there's some white guy like talking over me and deciding to steer the conversation a certain way. So I got really annoyed. But also, just can you imagine having a friend like Mark? Like, seriously, can you imagine what that would be like to have this ingenious robotic person way smarter than you, and you're his friend?
Yeah.
Like,
you have one of those. It's me, Emily.
That's not true. You laugh all the time.
It'd be absolutely exhausting being friends with somebody like that. It's just like, dude, shut the fuck up for like 5 seconds and just let things happen. Like, we don't need the Mark Zuckerberg show right now. But this characterization of Mark Zuckerberg is very much constructed upon the narrative that we get in the book. And the narrative of the book, The Accidental Billionaires by Ben Mizrak, he took as his primary source of information Eduardo Saverin. So the book is very much based on Eduardo's point of view of how this Facebook was built. Like, it's you can't even say it's a biography, because it's so biased towards Mark and the proceedings, because it's all fed through Eduardo's memories. Mm-hmm. And the movie is an even broader interpretation of that narrative, because it's not intended to be biographical or a history of Facebook. It's just kind of a broad look at business and entrepreneurship. And the fact that it's Facebook is almost secondary to the larger business points that it's trying to make about building a company and what that entails.
Right. The relationships that get strained and the tensions around people. Yeah.
It's broad representations of those strains, not necessarily this is actually what happened between Mark and Eduardo and the Winklevi and Divya Narendra.
Winklevi.
Nice.
The Winklevi?
Yeah. Yo, that was a good drop, Ben.
Hey, one of the best lines ever. I'm 6'5", 220, and there's two of me. That shit was so fucking funny, dude.
That's my favorite line of the movie.
I was like, that shit is funny as hell. He was with it right there. Like, that twin dates black chicks from the hood. Like, that twin, he was down for it. He was ready to go. The other one was like, no, let's go illegally. He was like, let's go whoop this dude's ass. What you talking about? He's stealing money from us.
So some of the things that the movie made up would be like this inciting incident of the face mask creation, because the movie shows that it's caused by being spurned by Erica. Erica is...
She doesn't exist, right?
No, she's a creation of the movie to drive the plot forward.
Because he only dated his wife, I think, or something like that.
That's correct, yeah.
Whatever.
The book also cites a desire to meet women for the creation, but that's also a creation or something that was placed by Eduardo, and not really true of Mark Zuckerberg, who really just wanted to build something because he liked building shit. And like, that's not interesting though as a movie, so they had to Hollywood it up.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. I definitely would not watch this movie if it was about, I just like building shit kind of movie.
It's very much like, I know we're not supposed to go for it, but it's very much Silicon Valley-ish, if you ever seen Silicon Valley. It's well, especially like the incubator part. I'm like, oh, this is where Silicon Valley probably got their idea from. There's this guy who's did something back in the day, has no more money, and then he comes in, he has this whole incubator thing, blah, blah, blah. And I watched that series like all the way through. I thought it was hilarious. But that's what it when it got to that point, that's what it felt like. And I was like, okay, now I get it. But again, when I was saying before, like, because people sign NDAs earlier, you don't even know how much of this is real, how much is it artistic license. But for it to be a piece of art, I didn't think it was bad. I really liked it.
So let's dive into another difference between the book, movie, and reality. And this is going to probably surprise you guys. Eduardo and Mark were barely friends in real life.
What?
So their friendship in this movie was really made up because Mark only went to Eduardo because he knew that Eduardo had money. Like, it wasn't even because they were friends. It was literally like, I know this guy's famous on campus, so I'm going to get money from him because he's got money. And then when they moved out to California, Eduardo was asked to stay in New York and set up the company and make a business model and get funding, and he failed at everything that he attempted to do. And the reason he was let go was because he began running unauthorized ads on Facebook for his own startup company.
Oh my God.
These people are terrible.
What?
So this Eduardo as a victim that we get in this movie is not the case, like, at all in reality.
Oh my God. What the fuck?
It's like, I kind of wish they wouldn't have used people's real, like, they wouldn't use names. They was just very fictional names. But then again, nobody probably would have watched it.
But it is Facebook.
So, it
like,
is Facebook.
What do? You make up your own, you call it the social network, and it's literally social network.
It's just the same idea we had for The Greatest Showman, like, make this movie but not make it about P.T. Barnum. And
right.
we would have signed off on that one and been all about that movie. But I don't think people would have gone to this movie if it wasn't about Facebook, because this was the Facebook movie.
Right.
When it came out. That's how it was sold.
That's true. I mean, that is the way that you're going to market this and get a bunch of people to go see it. You know, it really did bring people together. And at this point, hundreds of thousands of people were involved in it and were connected with their friends. And so, like, of course they're going to capitalize on that.
This movie had one of the best taglines I've ever heard for a movie, which is, you don't get to 500 million friends without making a few enemies. Like, elevator pitch tagline, that fucking kills it.
Yeah, it did. It did. And that was the reason why, like, should I watch this? Should I not watch this?
Yeah.
Well, that does surprise me slightly, but it also kind of disappoints me because I just wanted to hate Mark Zuckerberg even more about everything all the time. And, like, I can still hate him. I don't hate him, just hate a lot of the choices in hate social media. And anyway, let's talk about something else.
It's like, I kind of wonder, because so much is, again, artistic license. Is he any bit of this person at all?
I did read that Mark Zuckerberg said that his costuming was done correctly.
Yep. Sweatshirts.
I mean, which, you know, if that's again, I think nobody should have to wear anything more than basketball shorts and a t-shirt. Honestly, I hate wearing pants now. Just don't do it. Like, I come home and it's literally basketball shorts, t-shirt. That's it. But I mean, I just wonder, like, the rest of the personality thing. Like, if they're gonna fabricate the girl to actually make it be like that whole jumping off point for him to actually start to create and do everything, then, like, how much is, like, the back end? You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody had to help the guy. So, like, who is actually his legit partner? And then if he was, like, you know, shading the other guys from, like, Harvard, like the twins and, like, the other guy, if he was doing that, then, like, how much of that is actually real? Because they did get paid out. I mean, in the movie, they said everybody kind of got paid, did NDAs and whatever. But it's like, how much of that is now is just so much artistic license that you've gone so much further away from what could actually be real, and you're just kind of like building on the myth of Zuckerberg from now on out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and how would we have felt about this movie if it was much more of a boring biopic? Because I feel like the artistic license that they took with this movie is to the movie's benefit, because it does make for a more engaging story.
You had to have the sexy stuff. They had to have the partying. They had to have, like, the attractive Harvard elite sort of feel to it. Because honestly, it reminded me a lot of Gossip Girl, where you were interested in these stories because there's a lot of stakes involved and they're important people, you know?
I also think, though, the movie does a great job of contrasting the elitism of Harvard with the elitism of corporate America, and how he's kind of got to struggle to get into it, and then he wants Facebook to be like an elite thing. And then also the contrasting between the way that he treats women with creation of Face Mash and the way that those frat guys treat women at the finals club during the party scenes. Like, there's a very clear reason that they are constantly cutting back and forth those, because they want us to draw that comparison between the two of like, look, douchey frat guys exist, but the quiet nerds can be douchey guys too.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody sucks. That's my takeaway. Everything sucks. Everything's on fire. The end.
Especially that Napster guy. And I don't know if that's real. If it's not real, whoever decided to do that did a great job, because I thought he added enough to it to make it feel like he was kind of enticing him over to the dark side. And like he's pretty much lost whatever moral fiber that he already didn't have. He's pretty much gone after that, because he was like, oh, this guy's doing it. He was really big, and he's telling me everything I want to hear. And his boy was like, which I think Andrew Garfield is probably one of the cooler looking dudes in this film. It was like, you know, oh man, you don't want to go that route. And the other guy's like, nah, man, you know, I'm Justin Timberlake, dog. Like, roll with me.
The movie seems to imply that they want to get out to the West Coast and go to Stanford because they want to attract Sean Parker's attention. Like, because they talk about going out west, and then they also then cut to the next scene where Sean Parker finds out about Facebook. So it's almost wanting us to imply that, like, yeah, we want to get this guy's attention, but that is not at all what happened. In fact, Sean Parker found the website and reached out to Mark Zuckerberg. That's like, hey, let's meet. I want to talk about this. This is an idea that I want to help you with. Mm-hmm. So the one was chasing the other. It's not the way that the movie implied.
Just weird. It's a weird time.
How about we do a new segment before we get into the good, bad, and weird?
Yeah, we should take a little bit of a break.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a shot, and then I'm going to leap into this next activity. But
cheers, Ben. Enjoy your shot. Oh my God! Wow, that was a big shot.
That was a drink.
Jameson,
chasing
very nice.
It with water.
So the reason I felt I needed a shot is because this segment very much feels like someone sitting around drinking, being angry. So I chose to write a letter to something or someone within this movie to just let them know how I feel about them. So,
oh no.
My letter goes, Dear Digital Breath, you're so fucking fake. I come from a state where seeing your breath is a constant occurrence, and my breath has never looked like you. If you're going to be in this movie, which I don't even find you to be necessary, but if you are, then you need to get your shit together and actually look right. Because you are by far the worst actor in this movie, and frankly, you took me right out of it. And that's on you, sir. That's on you. P.S. Tell your friend Digital San Francisco from Zodiac that he can fuck off too. Sincerely, Ben.
Wow, Ben, you really didn't bottle up your emotions there.
That's a harsh
letter. It didn't even look like real breath. Like, it was literally coming out every single time a word was spoken. Like, it's not that fucking cold.
Maybe I was too focused on the subtitles to see breath.
That could be.
I didn't pay attention to it either for some reason. I normally pay attention to that. I did not even pay attention to the breath.
So let's get into the good of this movie. I want you guys to pick a winner. Who or what won this movie?
Oh, that's an easy pick for me. That's a really easy pick for me. Well, I mean, I have two. Do I have to pick one?
Yeah, that's the point. You pick one winner. Unless it's two people doing the same thing.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Okay,
I'm going to go with our wonderful composers and musicians, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Fucking delicious. Wow. Like, I didn't even know that they were doing the music as I'm just like listening to the beginning and everything. And as Mark Zuckerberg is like running through the quad or whatever. And I was blown away. I went, God, this sounds a lot like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. And I think I texted you, Ben, and I said, hey, is this their first movie that they've done? Because it seems kind of like the time period where they kind of shift into this, and turns out it is, right? It's their first big movie. And now look at where they are.
Yeah, love the score.
Yeah, the score was great.
My favorite scene is built on a huge score moment, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But Brandon, who won this movie?
The cinematography is killing. Oh, for real. I can't get away from this, like how like yellow popped up all the time. Even when they walk outside, like the digital breath is there. Now that I realize it was digital breath. When they walk outside of the Caribbean club thing or whatever, the Caribbean thing, it was a Caribbean party night, and it was only one black guy.
Oh yeah,
you trying to tell me there's only one black guy in Harvard? Anyway,
well, it was the Jewish frat though, so there's probably not a lot of black Jews at Harvard.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. I only know one in my life.
But anyway, so like, yeah, they walk outside. Even there, like, you know, it's like there's like yellow there. Like this, all the cinematography choices are great. And I know we're not supposed to go forward, but
go for it. Do it.
Andrew Garfield is low key my favorite Spider-Man off rip. I love he's too cool. Every time he came on camera, it was gonna be some cool shit. And I was like, this guy, I didn't realize he was that damn cool. This guy's pretty damn cool. So like, for me, anytime he was on screen, I knew he was a good actor. I didn't know he was that good. Like he really impressed me on this whole film. Mm-hmm. So
Brandon,
those are two.
You stole mine. That's who I think won this movie. Yeah.
Wow,
Andrew Garfield.
Ben.
He's cool.
It's not easy to do Sorkin dialogue because of how expository and kind of bouncy it is. He kills it in this movie, and he is so impressive. And there are many scenes where the emotion within him overcomes in moments of comedy and moments of drama, and he just, every single beat he manages to hit. And I love him for it, and it's going to lead me into my favorite line of the movie. And it's all has to do with his delivery of it. And it's, don't fish eat other fish, the marlin and the trout.
I got that written down. Right here. Yep. Don't fish eat other fish. He killed, like, and here's the thing. He's after the girlfriend is gone, he's the moral compass for the whole film. The whole film, he's basically, and I know now that I know that it's kind of fake and he wasn't really with him for real, but for like story purposes, like he's the one dude who's just kind of like, he's like down for him regardless. Like, yo man, I'm trying to help you out. Here's cash. Here's this. Here's that. Take care of it. And then it's like anytime they had a conflict, it's all yellow. Even in the very end, like when they kind of get him out of all the stock, I was looking. I'm like, okay, I don't see the yellow, but when he walks away, like the back part of that actual like new spot where they're at, there's this big yellow bar at the top. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, okay. They kept it going the whole time. And he's legit from start to finish, the whole moral compass. And he's I think he almost had to be, because he's playing up against a guy who's supposed to be, who has problems with like emotion, who has problems with like actually showing that, you know what I'm saying? Who's like, everybody serves a purpose and everything serves a purpose for it, versus he's kind of more that feeling aspect of it. And for real, dude, like next to him losing Gwen Stacy is probably like the two best things I've ever seen this dude do.
Favorite scenes?
I got a couple. The opening is still my favorite. The whole back and forth. No, there's not a large establishing shot. You know what I'm saying? It's basically like a two shot. Normally you go for the two shot, you go in, and all of a sudden you see where everything is. It never comes out, so it stays tight. It stays tight and stays uncomfortable for a purpose, for a reason. So you're uncomfortable with the way the conversation's going.
Also, the way it drops you into that scene too.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't give you that establishing shot at the beginning. It's literally like you're dropped into the middle of this conversation, and you better keep up because we're going fast.
Right.
I even wrote down like, I like the fast intro because it felt like the pace car was already off in the actual race. And then you're just like, okay, here's our pace, and boom. And then it didn't stop. Like, again, if this was a slower film, I would have been like, all right, I don't want to fast forward just because I got a podcast to do, but let me fast forward. So I would have been like that. But like legit, like it lets you know off tops, this is the pace. Keep up. And so once you start going, everything works from there. That in when Armie Hammer, who I'm still surprised it was two of them, I swear it was when they lose that race, that the rowing race, and then God, I had one more after that. After they lose the rowing race, and then they're talking to like the guys, and they come to that conclusion that, okay, we're gonna go sue this dude, and how he was just amped after that. And then the other part when what's the guy? I keep butchering his name. What's the main guy's name again? Jesse Eisenberg. When he's talking about he's talking about everything in reference to them. He was saying how like they were kind of like butthurt about not having money or something like that, and they're across the table. And he was like they're just not used to having something go their way or something to that effect. And I was like, all right, like I can get down with how he's being an asshole about this because he's probably been stepped on a lot or looked over a lot for his talent, his abilities. Here's these guys over here that, yeah, they're smart, but they're almost there because their parents have money. They're rowers, which rowing is a very expensive sport. And then it's like, they're supposed to be like Olympians in a minute. So like, that was that whole, like, I'm the little guy that's finally getting over on people that have this privilege. So those are the three that I probably like the most.
Well, let me jump in because my favorite scene, Brandon, is related to the Winklevi and rowing, and it's the In the Halls of the Mountain King scene.
Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me?
I love that scene because it feels like its own short film that doesn't belong in this movie. And the fact that they put that in this movie then is just, it's incredible. Like this scene should not be in this movie and it should not work, but it does. Mm-hmm. And it sets up perfectly the scene next where we see how much they are losing the race against Mark Zuckerberg to get control of this situation.
Whatever. You're like trying to make me more angry.
Well, also the first time I saw this movie was in theaters and I was a little late and missed the previews, and I walked in and sat down, and this rowing scene was the first scene I saw. And it took me several minutes to realize that I had walked into the wrong theater and ended up seeing the one that started like an hour and a half before I was supposed to see it. So
that's funny. Well, since you brought it up, I'm going to immediately go into the bad because I fucking hated that scene. Honestly,
I liked it too.
I hated that scene, especially like the slow-mo of their faces. And it's not because of what the scene is. It's because I hated how they shot the twins and how it was so fucking obvious to me that they weren't twins. I thought it was not well done. And I know that people are going to yell at me for this. And they'll say, Emily, the editing was really done well. And they went and did twin training for such a long time to make sure they had the same mannerisms and they walked similarly. But the choices they made to like shoot just the torso and the legs for some parts of it, and the way that they would like go back and forth between the twins in their perspectives, I was like, well, duh, they're not twins. We know this. It was driving me nuts, and I couldn't handle how bad it made me feel. It was just terrible.
If the twin stuff was bad in that scene, then that's the only scene that it's bad in. Because in the rest of the movie, the way that they composite the two actors or Armie Hammer twice is phenomenal. In every other scene in this movie, yes.
No, it's not.
You go back and watch that scene where they're in front of the dean.
I thought that was good.
And it is geniusly composited the way that they did it. And the way that they look at each other, and somehow these two people that aren't sitting next to each other are interacting at the right time with each other. It's phenomenal acting by Armie Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I still hate it. And you know what? Maybe we need to have, I don't know if I can say this with a straight face. Maybe we need to have more twin representation.
What?
More twins in movies. Real twins
in movies.
I'm going to hit my bad, and it's going to go after one of the nominations. And I know, Brandon, you've been talking about sound design. I'm going after the sound mixing. I didn't think the sound mixing was that great in this movie, particularly the club scene where the club music was way too fucking loud. And it's realistic for sure, and I get it. I understand why they did it, but it adds nothing to the scene by being realistic in that way. And the entire focus of that scene was dialogue. And if I can't hear the dialogue, then that scene doesn't work the way it's mixed.
The reason why I thought that was cool is because it was dialogue. It was basically throwaway stuff he's talking about himself. So like, you know, when you get too close to somebody saying something like, yeah, and they're talking the whole, like, who talks that much with music that loud at a club? Nobody. But he's like this, talking and doing all this explaining. Oh, I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. and it's really loud. And it's like that. I've known people to do that when I used to go to clubs, which was very rarely. And I'm like, why is this guy talking so damn loud? I'm trying to hear 3 6 Mafia. Like, I don't know what's going on. Why it's so loud? But like that made sense. Like, that felt realistic. Academy Award nominated, borderline, because I can't remember what else came out that year. But I thought that told more about Timberlake's character than it did everything else. And I thought that being in there, because if it's like at like a hum, if it's like the whole like gangsters, every time like, you know, those like hood gangsters going someplace having this full-on conversation about money and they're at the club, but like you can barely hear the beats in the club. I'm like, what club is this and why is it making money? Because nobody's gonna go there if you can't hear the music really loud. So I liked it. I thought it was cool.
I didn't hate it as much as you did, Ben.
I wanted to better hear what they were talking about, because you could say it was throwaway dialogue, but the parable he told about Victoria's Secret, I found that to be interesting because of the parallelism between what's happening with Facebook. Like, I wanted to engage with that story more because I felt like it was so well placed from a script standpoint.
Maybe you should put on subtitles, Ben.
Maybe they should mix the movie in a way that allows me to hear it.
Okay, I want to know the weird. Tell me this weird, because I got some weird, but tell me some of your weird.
My weird is the party that Sean gets arrested at near the end. The woman that claims to be underage is the one who's the intern at Facebook. How do they not know the age of their employees? Like, you have multiple girls there. Just have one of the other ones be underage. Why does it have to be the one that they hired? Because how old do they think this girl is? Like, he's been sleeping with her. When she says she's not old enough, like, what is she not old enough to do? I don't get it. How is she working at Facebook and isn't old enough to party?
Oh my God.
I just found it weird. It took me right out of it.
Okay, well, no offense to my favorite Angie Tribeca, but she took me right out of this movie.
Really?
Yeah. There were moments where she would like try to connect with Mark Zuckerberg in those quiet moments, and I felt like they were so unnecessary. And it's not because of her. It's literally because of what the character is. She's just kind of there, and she just kind of exists. And it really took me out of it. And also, Crazy Girlfriends from the Disney Channel. And I was like, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
I didn't know that.
I don't know how I feel about this now.
All the women in the movie seem to be only there to drive the plot forward or to reveal things about the male characters. Like, there is no reason that Christy, who is the one from Zach and Cody, that she needed to become crazy at some point. Like,
nope. How
did that serve the story, her losing her mind on Andrew Garfield? It just didn't make sense.
Burning a scarf. Oh my
I kind of thought it was because of social media, she started to kind of lose it. That's what I thought it was.
Oh.
Because she was even saying, like, you know, well, your like status is still single. How come you haven't changed it? He said, I don't know how to change it. I don't know how it works. So when he actually goes, when he's away and he comes to Los Angeles and he's talking to not Los, I guess it is Los Angeles. I don't know, Silicon Valley, and he's talking to Mark, and again he excuses himself because he's been waiting for X amount of hours to get picked up from the airport and he didn't show up. So when he goes in there and they shut the door, and again, it's yellow in there too, when they're having this whole conflict, and he's saying like blah 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 and all sort of stuff, and like yo, and like he just kind of out of the blue asks, well, how's your girlfriend? He's like, I don't know, I'm scared of her, she's crazy. And then when you get to that whole part where she was like, well, what are you doing out there? You fucking those chicks out there in California, blah blah blah. And then it's like, okay, she wasn't crazy like that before. So now you see that the whole social media aspect of it is now making her to a point to where she's getting paranoid about this relationship. So that's when I was like, oh, okay.
You're digging so deep, Brandon. I love you so much.
You're making me love it, Brandon. Like, seriously, like, she needs to be in this movie more than Bird and shit. Because if that's what they were trying to do with that, I fucking love that.
But
the
they
way social media can change people.
Well, it's I think they did it enough in podcasts, because when they first get together, it's just basically a hookup, and then like the next time they're actually together and they're there and they're in the when they kind of start their first war room, he's like, oh, okay, well, you know, you'll run this, I'll do some coding, I'll do this, and I have to get interns, and then like the girls are there, and then I think she was saying like, you know, yeah, like how about she she chimes in on something that they end up kind of
she wants to help.
Right. So like then like the next time you see him, they're out with
Sean Parker.
Yeah, they're out there with him. You know what I'm saying? And everything's cool. So there's actually there's no inkling that she's gonna be paranoid about this relationship until Facebook gets bigger. It's in what I think they said it's in like Oxford now or something. It's all over the place, and that's when she starts being like, "Oh, I don't like scarves," and blah blah blah, and starts popping off. And how come you didn't tell me you were here yet? And he's just annoyed, like, dude, I don't know what to do. I just need to tie to myself, and all that stuff pops off. So I liked it because I kind of knew where it was going.
I like it now, Brandon, because you talked me into it. Thanks, man.
Oh God, what did I not like? The ending was kind of a little bit cliche-ish. You're still looking for.
Were you sitting clicking through the girl's Facebook page? That one?
Yeah, I kind of felt like. Yeah.
I don't know. It does follow your theme of how Facebook changes people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't change Mark, and I think
he was still super obsessed.
That's why that ending doesn't work. Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think he changed. He changed earlier. He changed before that. I think it was just because it seems like he was more combative about paying out to everybody in the beginning. It gets toward the end when he's like, "Hey, you want to go get something to eat?" I think he was trying to get that connection toward the end because I think he realized that he lost a lot of stuff when Garfield came in. Then that UPS guy drops down the actual cards. I think that's when he realized, okay, I fucked up. Like, this was the only guy that was down for me, and I chose all this. I chose my own personal stuff because I didn't know how to actually have that relationship with somebody else. And he had multiple opportunities to say, okay, I can be cool with the twins and we can get this stuff going, or I can, do something with my girlfriend, and I can kind of be straight, and I can do something with my best friend and all that other stuff. I think he realized it, but when it's just him and Garfield in the actual arbitration, I guess it's arbitration, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's not as quippy. He's not trying to get back at him all the time. So I think he realized he messed up, and that was the guy that was there for him. So at the very end, when he's just clicking through trying to see if he can connect with somebody from the past, it kind of felt like, all right, I messed up, I'll pay out, but it's never going to be the same. And I think he was trying to find that connection on the end. So it's never felt like he won anything at all. But I felt like when he lost it then when his friend left.
Well, let's put a cork in Social Network, and I'll start. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I enjoy watching it. I watch this movie every couple years. I enjoy all the performances. I enjoy the filmmaking. Sorkin's script is an absolute banger from start to finish. He's got major control over everything. The decision to do the narrative structure the way that it is, where it's jumping back and forth between depositions, and in that way, that's the way they're revealing exposition. It's a genius maneuver. The screenplay, man, of this has some very quotable lines that I love and that are memorable. And we didn't even get to my favorite shot, which is the shot of Eduardo coming through the doors of Facebook and the dolly as he's storming towards Mark. Andrew Garfield has never looked more badass than that scene. Love it.
This movie was excellently done. There is nothing wrong with it. There really isn't. However, I hated it. I hated the way it made me feel. I hated how it made me hate the world and hate corporations and hate businesses and hate entitled white men, which, just fine. I can be that person. But it just made me incredibly angry and depressed, and I don't want to watch it again. Like, yes, excellently done. I had a great time, but at the same time, I fucking hated every second because of how my emotions now feel when it comes to the world. I got real depressed.
You respect the artistry, but don't like the experience.
Exactly. Brandon.
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen it sooner. I'm glad I watched it now because I could actually take the time and actually take it apart the way that I don't take it apart. I was impressed. Again, like, dude, fucking Spider-Man, dude. Fucking amazing Spider-Man, dude. He killed that shit, dude. He absolutely killed it. I don't think anybody was badly cast. at all. Even though, why am I going to call her Auntie Tribeca now? even though I think even though she only had 2 scenes, I think the scenes that she had did what it was supposed to do, and I really like her as an actress anyway. I liked it. I don't know if I constantly watch it, but again, man, when that dude sit there and he said, "Dude, I am 6'5", 220, and there's 2 of me," dude, I hollered. I was like, "That shit is real as hell." But yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
Well, are we ready for some fun?
Yes.
Okay, for a great time that won't fill you up and will never let you down, make it a Twits Light.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative.
How do you get the idea?
I just try to think creatively.
Here we go. Number 1. Cameron Winklevoss is so focused on being a Harvard gentleman that he uses it as a defense to not sue people. So here you go. Fill in the blank. We're blank gentlemen. We don't blank.
I haven't been a gentleman in a while. I'm married. I don't know.
How about this? We're fellowship gentlemen. We don't simply walk into Mordor.
Oh my god, that was so good! Oh,
I can't beat that. I have nothing. I can't beat that at all. Oh, I can't beat that.
That's okay. Are we ready for number 2? All right, number 2. Sean Parker removed the from Facebook and Saverin from Facebook. What else did he remove from Facebook?
Decency?
The age restriction.
Oh, that's not good. Why am I laughing?
But it is accurate to his character.
Yes, it is. All right, last one, number 3, bringing it back around. Is Mark Zuckerberg a robot? If yes, where did he come from? What's his origin story?
I want to say he came from Galvatron. And he's definitely a transformer. So anytime he wants to transform somebody human, he just hits it, he transforms back. That's it.
Yes.
And he's got the Transformers theme like replaying in his head, like
the 80s one.
Yes, the 80s one. Only the 80s one. That's it. That's the best one. It's
so good.
See, Mark Zuckerberg reminds me a lot of C-3PO. So he comes from Tatooine.
Say more about why he reminds you of C-3PO.
Just he kind of speaks a little proper and kind of over intellectualized, like he's trying to come off as smarter than he is. When we all know R2-D2 is the brains of that operation.
Right.
Y'all, we're such nerds. I love it. This is great.
Now let's all agree to never be creative again.
Okay, well let's continue with the game for us nerds. And this game is called Yo, Hit Me Up on My MySpace Page.
Shall we play a game?
I despise guessing games.
I have this great game. Makes you think and it helps your memory.
Let the games begin.
Because MySpace came before Facebook, and I was an original MySpace kid. I had MySpace for years before I had Facebook. So I'm going to give you 3 things found on a movie character's MySpace page, and you need to tell me the character who owns the page. And you can guess at any time 3 things for each character you both are playing.
Is it bad?
Obviously.
I've never had a MySpace page. I skipped that whole
I've never either,
time.
but I'm super young.
Well, this is going to hit home to a lot of people who did have MySpace pages, because I went back and looked at what old pages had for information on them and what kind of features they had. So this is accurate to what they would have had. So first character, education listed as a degree in medicine from Johns Hopkins. His About Me says, I love to travel, though I'm currently unable to. His listed favorite food is liver, beans, and Chianti.
Oh, it's Hannibal Lecter.
That's correct. Point for Brandon.
Oh,
Good job,
God.
Brandon.
Yeah, I would not have known that.
Next character, current mood, angsty. Favorite album, Dark Side of the Moon. His MySpace quote, I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating and it gets everywhere.
It's obviously Anakin.
Absolutely, Anakin Skywalker.
See, I thought you were going to go with like a werewolf, like teen werewolf kind of thing when you said angsty and Dark Side of the Moon.
No, Dark Side of the Moon. Come on. That was pretty clever.
That was slick. That was slick.
Next character. His About Me says he's a recent graduate living with his parents. His favorite musician is Sting. Under the movies category, he says that Jessica Alba movie wasn't even about honey.
Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? You brought up B movie? See, when you said Sting, I was like, okay, Ben's bringing up a stinger of some kind. Did he fucking bring up Barry B. Benson?
Yes, I did. Barry B. Benson from B movie.
Fuck you, Ben.
I got all these 2007 references now that I'm going to be able to use because we're not there anymore.
I hate you.
Okay, Emily's up 2-1.
I'm going to lose this because I can't have ever seen B movie.
You're lucky. Okay, next character. Their profile song is Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News. In their profile picture, they're slowly disappearing. And their top friend is an eccentric old man.
It's a dude from I drank too much. It's dude from it's Marty McFly.
That's correct, Brandon. Good job.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I knew it the
Oh my gosh, damn it.
I knew it the second time. I just couldn't get it out. I was like, what did I drink again? I thought I chased it with water, but I guess it didn't work.
Okay, next character. His profile picture is a mirror selfie.
Matt.
Matt Anderson. No.
Yeah.
Not our co-host Matt, no. His favorite food is cheese pizza. And he recently posted woof on his brother's girlfriend's page.
Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh, good guess. No.
I legit have no idea.
It is Kevin Mcallister from Home Alone.
I don't think I've ever finished Home Alone.
Wow, you don't remember the line, Buzz, your girlfriend, woof.
Yeah,
No.
I remember it now. It's been such a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in our Christmas special last year I said that I never finished it because I just seemed so dumb to me.
Yeah. That's okay.
Sorry.
Next one, we're tied 2-2. Their away message says, busy making mullets look sexy. Their favorite animal is a white barn owl. And their favorite dance move is hip thrusting their package near their puppet underlings.
Oh my God, what? I was 100% going to go Harry Potter. Now I have no idea.
Hip thrusting their package near their puppet underlings.
Super creative, Ben. I do not have the brain
Is that
power
like
for this, I guess.
Like a Muppet movie? I'm trying to think of.
Kind of. The answer is...
Oh my God, I'm so stupid. It's David Bowie, Jareth the Goblin King.
That's correct, from Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. Damn it.
I can't believe it took Emily that long.
I should have known about Labyrinth, man. I should have. Damn it.
Last one. Emily's up 3-2. Their page wallpaper is waves. Their profile song is Baby Shark. And their quote is, yeah, you are going to need a bigger boat.
I don't know the name of the Jaws guy.
I know it's Jaws.
The Jaws guy is just named Jaws.
I literally have never seen Jaws.
What's his, I see their faces too.
Oh, is their face a shark face? Because it's literally just the shark from Jaws.
No.
Is it shark from Jaws? Oh, I thought you were talking about
shark,
like the guys that were in the boat.
No,
I've never seen Jaws. So the fact that Brandon and I both were thinking Jaws, that's like a good thing, right?
Yeah, you guys got it. Well, we'll call that last one a tie, which means Emily, by pulling Labyrinth out at the very last second, wins 3-2.
Labyrinth got me.
Thank you, David Bowie.
Good job. Good job.
Well, Brandon, thanks for being on with us today.
Thanks for having me. A lot of fun.
Yeah, look forward to having you on for many episodes to come in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a lot of good ones planned for you, so we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun time.
And next week, we do have a movie that both Emily and I have not seen. So I've got some clues for Emily. Emily,
Ooh.
your clues are based on a true story, train, and Denzel Washington.
Oh my God.
So you're going to write a plot synopsis for us next week. And Matt will be here.
Not Snowpiercer.
I think I know what it is, though. I think I know what it is.
Matt will be here next week to talk this movie, which is, Brandon?
The Taking of Phylum 3-2 whatever, 3-2 14 15.
No, it is the other Denzel Washington train movie.
Oh.
Unstoppable.
Oh.
Which I'm guessing is the biopic about the meteoric rise of the band Train, starring Denzel Washington as the lead singer Pat Monahan.
Ben, you just took my synopsis.
No, it's my synopsis. That's what I think it's about. But before we go, thank you to everyone who has listened to us through our first season and into this second season. We really do appreciate you. Follow us on social media at IDYP_podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And you can email us with any comments, questions, or concerns at idrinkyourpodcast@gmail.com. And thank you. And as our tradition is now, I'm going to lead us out for the first time with our Daniel Day-Lewis impression. So I'm going to back away from the mic because I get a little loud.
I'm a little scared.
I drink your podcast. I drink it up. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.
Take it easy, y'all.